Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Two La Liga giants faced off at the Wanda Metropolitano as Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid hosted Ronald Koeman's Barcelona. Atleti have made a fairly good start to La Liga, whilst Koeman's men have been bordering on disastrous. And that theme continued, with Atleti coming out 2-0 winners after 90 minutes, thanks to Tamar Lamar and Luis Suarez. The XG showed it was a well-deserved win, with the XG time map showing that Atleti took few shots but mostly of high quality and were in control for most of the match. But what tactics did Simeone and Koeman use? Let's take a look. A quick reminder of the formations, with Simeone sticking with the back three, whilst initially Koeman's men were in a 4-2-3-1 that looked like this. Let's begin with Barcelona in possession. Atleti did not press particularly high, as it is not their style, and they went ahead early, meaning they ended with a passes per defensive action of almost 30. But they still used a mid-block rather than sitting on the edge of their own box. But still, Barcelona could get out of the first phase fairly easily. When Atleti did look to engage higher up the pitch, the two forwards could press man-to-man against the centre-backs, whilst both wing-backs could be aggressive and look to press the full-backs. And with the midfield 3 versus 3, it could have been a good press. But this is the one thing Barcelona did do well. Busquets would initially drop into the backline to give them the advantage deep, and Dest and Mingueza were fairly aggressive in pushing up and providing the width, and this allowed Frenkie de Jong and Nico to move into the midfield, and now Barcelona would have the numerical advantage in central zones, helping them to keep the ball. And moving higher up the pitch, similar overloads were the goal for Barcelona. This could be in central regions, with the fullbacks again allowing the wingers on paper to come central. And with Atleti's 5-3-2 meaning the centre was well protected, it was the space behind the advanced fullbacks that Barcelona midfielders could look to pick up, to receive in space and then look to progress the team forwards. But mainly, the wingers looked to move between the lines, especially if the Atleti midfield was pushed higher up, in order to provide a penetrative option. And Memphis Depay started as a striker, but he often looked to drop in, and if this drew a centre-back, the men between the lines looked to make a run behind the defenders. But generally, having 3 centre-backs meant they could take turns tracking the men between the lines who were looking to receive the ball. But Barcelona from here could also create a left side overload, with Frenkie de Jong moving right infield, allowing Mingueza to provide the width. This may have been effective if Atleti were playing a 4, as Mingueza would have plenty of space to receive and then cross. But for the most part, Carrasco could easily move out to close his man down. But the high positioning of the fullbacks left Barcelona extremely vulnerable, as it could quickly become a 2 versus 2 up front. And Felix in particular is mobile, so playing off the left, he or Carrasco could easily attack the space behind Mingueza, leading to dangerous situations. It also leads to Atleti's second. Mingueza is high, with de Jong central, and there's a turnover. Felix is perfectly positioned behind the high fullback. Because the centre-backs were man-to-man, Araujo is drawn high, making space for Lamar to attack. So with Araujo now taken out of the game, Piqué is dragged across, leaving Suarez free to receive and shoot. In the second half, Barcelona did shift to more of a dedicated 4-3-3 in the attack, and now having 2 men wide allowed them to attempt to overload the isolated wingback. but the Atleti's central midfielders, as hard-working as ever, were usually able to come across and support, making it a 2 versus 2. But what did Atleti do on the ball? When possible, Atleti would look to build short, with their wider back three and the wing-backs pushed higher. And where Barcelona initially only had one forward to press the 3 men, Frenkie de Jong and Gavi were often drawn to the central centre-backs to make it a 3 versus 3. The Atleti wing-backs would have been easy outlet, so Barcelona took a risk, perhaps an ill-advised one, with the full-backs pushing up to cover this. And Atleti consistently took advantage of this using third-man runners. The forwards were roughly man-to-man with the remaining centre-backs, meaning a dummy run could open space for a third-man runner to move into the created space. And the Atleti centre-backs were willing to take risks to attempt these passes. We see this in the first Atleti goal. De Jong is drawn towards Hermoso and Mengueta is ready to press Carrasco at wing-back. So Suarez and Felix are man-to-man with the centre-backs, whose positions they can manipulate, whilst Lamar in the midfield is initially tracked. Felix receives and comes inside, and with Araujo out of position, there is space behind the centre-back that Lamar can attack. Suarez receives and plays the first-time pass to the running Lamar, who finishes expertly. Barcelona did later shift this defensive press to have a midfielder look to close down the wing-back instead, allowing Mengueta to remain deeper to retain the defensive structure, but the damage had already been done. Overall, Simeone got it spot on, whilst Koeman might quickly be approaching the end of his tenure. But I want you to comment your thoughts down below, and leave a fire emoji if you want to see a video on what's going wrong at Barcelona. And introducing a new segment, the Manager Tactical Score, where we rate how well the manager's tactics worked regardless of the final score, on a scale of 1 to 10. Simeone's tactics work perfectly, both in offense and defense, and he gets a well-earned 9 out of 10, the highest score so far. Koeman or his assistant were pretty easily handled in this match, getting a 4 out of 10, with at least an attempt to adapt in the second half. But what are your ratings down below? And if you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy the FMS Patreon. On Patreon, you'll get early access to videos, exclusive videos, as well as the ability to vote on various polls and so much more. It's a great way to support the channel, and it is now cheaper than ever. All you have to do is head over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple, or press the card in the top right or the end card at the end of this video. And a special thanks to my patrons including Carl Kielberg. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.